before I started C60, my life was good. I had always been keeping my eye out for things that were interesting, and I happened to stumble across a podcast of somebody named Clif High who talked about C60, and I was fascinated, and so I simply bought it out of curiosity. What motivated me to try C60 Purple Power was the conversation around the rat studies, and to hear how long they lived, how good they were. I thought that there's no reason not to try this. If there was one thing that prevented me from getting started, it would have been the cost. That I understood scientifically it sounded like a great thing, but I didn't know which manufacturer to get it from, and it was a significant enough of a price point. I wanted to make sure that I made a smart move, but at the same time I felt like I needed to give it a shot. Definitely thought it was worth the investment. The more I listened and the more I studied, the more research, the more people had testimonials. I definitely knew it was well worth the preventative maintenance, if you will, to take that for myself. Every day I take about 1 teaspoon of C60. It's simple, it's just part of my morning routine. What surprised me the most about C60 Purple Power was the continued ongoing education that came from Ken the Scientist. They would have the weekly podcast. What I'm doing differently now that I'm taking C60 is I am less concerned about some of the natural aging. And I'm active, I'm not crazy active, but I think C60 has allowed me to continue with some of the activity that I did before and really not noticing some of the pains and aches that go with natural aging. My wife and I have 3 kids. My youngest is autistic. We started doing research, and stem cells is something that a lot of doctors recommend. Unfortunately, you have to be clear of heavy metals for stem cells to be effective. When we first tested him, he had too high of heavy metals, they wouldn't accept him. And I remembered hearing that C60 was great at removing heavy metals. So we treated him just a teaspoon of C60 on his food for about 6 months. And when we retested him, the metal levels had gone down enough that they accepted him for the stem cell therapy. The main reason I would recommend C60 Purple Power, it's a proven product. The source, C60 Purple Power, is far and away the best, easiest place to get it from. You don't have to worry about, does it actually have the levels of C60 it says? It is a great resource that you can continue to learn from. My favorite story about C60 Purple Power is I started taking it. I told my wife about it. She's always had, honestly, terrible eyesight. She has astigmatism, and she started taking it, but not every day. It was intermittent. I would say probably 3 to 4 times a week. And the first time she went to her optometrist, both of her eyes improved. They went down a quarter of a step. And so the doctor just kind of was like, well, it happens once in a while. But then the next year she went back, they both went down another quarter step, and the third and the 4th year. So each year for 4 years, her eyes have improved a quarter of a step each eye. And the only thing she's done differently is taking C60 Purple Power. My name is Keith Harper. I live in Hamilton, Ohio.